thousands of years ago, to travel back to the Godhead, to tell the Godhead that the Archons, who are the Aryans, by the way, that the evil Archons had taken over the entire planet, and that they needed, help, because the Devas had been driven off the planet. The Devas, of course, are the nature spirits, and as Tolkien shows us very clearly in The Lord of the Rings, Sauron and Sargon are destroying nature to fuel and finance some mysterious project. And if you go back and look and see in history, who Sauron is, it's obvious that he's talking about Sargon. Sargon was the head of the first real king of the Kali Yuga in Mesopotamia. He started calendars, he started clocks, he started the workday, he started everything, and he was an Aryan. And so you can see that there's this regimented thing that starts entering in and removes us from the natural state of a highly advanced hunter-gatherer, which is really what human beings are, and that's our natural state. Very close to the earth, no agriculture, all fresh foods, a lot of hunting, a lot of gathering. Very spiritual, though, not a grunting life, but a wonderful, beautiful life filled with meditation and a much higher standard of living, which was what was going on before the Aryans emerged.
Wow. Now, is there any connection between the Aryans and then the German Aryans that were involved with one of the world wars?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, all of the German Nazis were obsessed with the lore of a people that lived in the under the earth.
The Nordics, weren't they?
Yes, and they were obsessed with it. And Hitler even told people that he had met the new man, i.e. the Aryans, that he is terrible, he said. And they received all of their technology, the Bell technology, which was a spinning mercury, which powered the UFOs. They received all of that stuff from the Aryans. They had contacted them and told them what to do, where to go, and that's how the Nazis from 1930 to 1945 did the most astonishing advances ever in human history. They invented the laser, UFOs, they invented radar, they invented, there's so many things, television, so many things that it's ridiculous. There's no group of people could ever do that. But they did it, and by the way, this was all being financed by the Rothschilds and England and America, including George Bush's grandfather.
That's right.
And it's right, and it's all coming out of Skull and Bones. And Skull and Bones has a number, a secret number that no one knows what it means. And the number is 322. Yeah, well, 322 is quite obvious. It's the first day of Aries. Okay, Aries is Mars. Mars is March. March is the only planet month that's named after a planet. And all alchemy begins in Aries.
Wow.
So these are the alchemists, and these are the high magicians, and these are the Great White Brotherhood. Kutumi, who talked to Blavatsky, was an Aryan. You could go on and on. And then the king of the world, according to the Tibetans, lives in an underground city named Shambhala underneath the Himalayas, and he's chalk white. Yep. And
then, of course, we know, this is common knowledge, that we brought over all the Nazi scientists through Project Paperclip and installed them in high positions, including, I think, the top of NASA.
Well, absolutely they did. And Werner von Braun told Carol Rosen, his paramour, right near his death, he said, you'll see, in the end they'll say all of this was caused by the aliens. And he started laughing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right from the horse's mouth. And listen, though, there's there's more than just that. It's been pretty much proven beyond any shadow of a doubt that the entire bottom third of South America was given over to the Nazis at the end of World War II. And that was their country, and they owned both sides, Chile and Argentina, and they ran them. Pinochet was their puppet, and so was the other guy, I forget his name, the Argentinian dictator that was there for years and years. And if you ever got close to anything that they were doing in the mountains, you were disappeared. Wow. In Argentina, thousands and thousands of people were disappeared. Hikers would get near these Nazi facilities where they were building these huge craft, and they would disappear. And if you look at Jacques Vallée's work on where UFO sightings and where they are and how many there have been and all of that, which he did copious work for 30 years, you'll find that 75% of UFO sightings are in the bottom third of South America.
Wow.
Yeah, they're building. You can type in Santiago, Chile, December 2008, and watch the YouTube video of about 40 craft flying over Santiago. I think you can almost see them waving out the windows.
Jeez.
See you later, suckers.
Wow. Well, what in the heck are we going to do about all this? We can.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know, and I'm not saying there is going to be this thing because these people could be as wacky as they come. Yeah. I think actually their number. Here's the thing. Their original number was 2442. That was when they said that the end of the Kali Yuga was coming, according to these ancient texts. And I think that they found out by deciphering the long count calendar in the late 1880s that there may be a chance that it isn't 2442, but it's 2012. And so they hit the pedal to the metal and created the 20th century and got out of Dodge, and they're up there, but there may still be 400 years left. Yeah, I mean, their number system definitely says 2442. It's a big mystery that we're all trying to uncover and figure out. It's very interesting, very interesting. The entire number system that these people have been using since they arrived here is a higher dimensional or hyperdimensional number system. And there's only 3 places on Earth that the architecture of that we've looked at. No, there's many places on Earth that use their numerical system, this hyperdimensional numerical system, but the 3 places on Earth that have it the most are Giza, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Stonehenge, and the U.S. Capitol. And I'm talking about knowledge that no one knows about, that would have been almost, you would think, nearly impossible for the guys that built the U.S. Capitol to know, yet they did.
Well, Dan Brown just came out with another one of his thrillers about the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah, well, they're doing it, but when the Sacred Geometry of Time comes out by Robert Lawler, they'll put Dan Brown and the rest of them right in their place.
Well, of course, they're thriller writers. They're not esoteric scholars by any means.
No, Dan Brown's an apologist for the Freemasons. That book is an apology for the Freemasons. The guy, what's his name, Ronnie Howard, who made Angels and Demons and the other book, The Da Vinci Code, based on his books, he's a Freemason. The Freemasons have their agenda, and their agenda is to get out of Dodge and leave us all here, and that's the truth of it. A lot of people are doing things. Patrick Gerald's going to someplace in Africa where there's deep caves. I'm heading to Peru. There's people that are doing things. There's things you can do.
What about building a boat?
Well, it will work. The problem, if you can get past that initial coronal mass ejection, then the resultant tidal waves and expected 400-mile-an-hour winds. My buddy Cliff High is building a boat. I know that, and it's a pretty cool boat. And I'm thinking about buying one myself just in case.
I just read his article on that, and my jaw dropped on it. It was almost like reading your articles. It was like, just chock full of hidden meaning, and at least that's what I got out of it. You can take it on a literal level, of course, but there's a lot more there than meets the eye, I think. And he's going to be coming back on the show soon, I hope.
Well, there's kind of a strange thing going on where there's just a certain percentage of people that get it, and they really don't even need to discuss it anymore. And Cliff and I are in that group, and it's like, well, if you don't see it, that's your problem. We're taking care of business.
Right.
He's building a boat. I'm headed to South America.
Right. I'm probably going to stay right here. I just have no desire to, for whatever reason, I've been stationed here, and so
there's not a whole lot you can do.
There really isn't.
It's a matter of luck, even in a boat.
Yeah. And with my resources, I wouldn't get further than leaving California probably. Yeah, but I do know that the military is building underground bases as fast as you can flip pancakes at Sambo's.
Certainly are. Yeah.
So, they're just scurrying around, but that's not going to help any either.
Well, I think that the air would get sucked out of them, and then you got the crust moving around. I don't know. I wouldn't think it's a good idea.
I wouldn't. It doesn't appeal to me.
No. I'm just joking. I'm probably not going to South America. I'll just take a deep breath and hope I get through it. I've had a good life already, so I feel sorry for the other people if it happens. I don't concern my life actually with disasters and things. I'm actually glad the Aryans are leaving, and I hope we get a 400-year reprieve and maybe longer from them. I think they've been a terrible influence on the planet, and they've left a wrecked planet behind, and we've got to pick the mess up. And so I don't really appreciate it, and I hope they did take a few pot shots at them as they were scooting out of Dodge. Frankly, that's how I feel about them. So, if Obama's got a terrible mess to handle, and I wouldn't pity. I don't pity politicians, but at the same time, boy, I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be there now.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about disclosure happening very soon. That was supposed to happen on the television. The time was scheduled and everything.
Yeah, but I'll tell you when disclosure happened. Happened just about the last hour. That's the disclosure. Yeah, that's the disclosure. Anything else is not just not there. And David Wilcott going out of his way to say there's going to be a disclosure, and he thinks that there's going to be these aliens landing and everything. I'm sorry, I love David, he's a great guy, but no, it ain't going to happen. Disclosure is that they're leaving. And the people in the know, and people like Cliff High, or a lot of other people already know all this. They know what's going on. You can look at it on the web. You can see him in Ed Grimsley's glasses going through the night sky. No, we know what's going on.
Wow.
And believe me, there's Gary McKinnon is being extradited to the U.S. or cracking into the Pentagon's bases. He says there's a secret space program with gigantic ships and hundreds of thousands of personnel. Probably most of the missing people of the last 30 or 40 years is, well, I didn't want to say what happened to them, but you get the idea.
Yeah. And of course, we know that they've had free technology and... Huh? Okay. Well, it's just about time for us to fly out of here ourselves.
There you go.
Would you mention your websites again? And
sacredmysteries.com has all my videos, including the new Infinity, The Ultimate Trip, Journey Beyond Death, my new film, and JayWeidner.com has all my high weirdness articles. So just go there, or just type in Jay Weidner on Google and look at all the nice things that people say and the nasty things people say about it.
Well, I can't believe anybody would say anything nasty about you, Jay. You're a terrific guy, and I love having you on the show, and you'll have to come back again soon, okay?
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, and be sure and go check out his articles and his website, because I'm telling you, it's mind-blowing. All right, thanks a lot, Jay, and good night, everybody.
Thousands of years ago, to travel back to the Godhead, to tell the Godhead that the archons, who are the Aryans, by the way, that the evil archons had taken over the entire planet, and that they needed, help, because the Devas had been driven off the planet. The Devas, of course, are the nature spirits, and as Tolkien shows us very clearly in The Lord of the Rings, Sauron and Sargon are
Aryans that were involved with one of the world wars.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, all of the German Nazis were obsessed with the lore of a people that lived in the under the earth.
The Nordics, weren't they?
Yes, and they were obsessed with it, and Hitler even told people that he had met the new man, who's a lot of hunting, a lot of gathering. Very spiritual, though, not a grunting life, but a wonderful, beautiful life filled with meditation and a much higher standard of living, which was what was going on before the Aryans emerged.
Wow. Now, is there any connection between the Aryans and then the German?
They're destroying nature to fuel and finance some mysterious project. And if you go back and look and see in history, who Sauron is, it's obvious that he's talking about Sargon. Sargon was the head of the first real king of the Kali Yuga in Mesopotamia. He started calendars, he started clocks, he started the workday, he started everything. And he was an Aryan. And so you can see that there's this regimented thing that starts entering in and removes us from the natural state of a highly advanced hunter-gatherer, which is really what human beings are. And that's our natural state. Very close to the earth, no agriculture, all fresh food.